Welcome to Do the Work Sports, guys. Tonight we're going to get right into this. It's NXT versus AEW. This has been something that's been going on. They're fighting for the ratings. And tonight I broke down what happened from NXT, what happened in AEW. We're going to break down the women's matches, and we're going to compare them to the point of who wins the night in them categories. So tonight we'll be breaking down the tag teams. We'll be breaking down the main event. We're going to be breaking down how the show's opened. And what we're going to do, we're just going to decide on who won Wednesday night this week. So kicking it right off, we're going to start off with NXT's opening. It opened with a cruiserweight title match against it's Lio Rush, who was the champion, versus Angel Garza. For any of you guys that's been following that storyline in WWE on NXT and in the 205 Live on Friday nights, you know that them two has been battling it out. They haven't really faced each other, but there's been a lot of high tensions. And, well, tonight they settled the differences. And this match was actually a really solid match. It was entertaining. It was fun. There was people, they was hitting finishers. They wasn't able to finish it. They was kicking out of each other's finishers. And it actually came to a surprise to me when Angel Garza ends up getting the submission over Lio Rush and becoming the new Cruiserweight champion. Lio Rush only held the title for maybe a month and a half, if that. So this title did not stay with Lio Rush very long. And so Angel Garza wins the match. After the match, during the commercial break, Angel Garza, we have a very touching and sentimental real moment. Angel Garza brings his girlfriend into the ring, and she is proposed to by Angel Garza. I would assume that this is not part of a storyline. This seemed very legit and real to me, so it was a very touching moment. And what better way to propose to your girl when you already got gold around your waist, so you put a gold ring around her finger, you know what I mean? Now, we move on to AEW. Their opening of the night was Jon Moxley, a.k.a. used to be known as Dean Ambrose, but Jon Moxley comes out, and he still does like the Shield thing that he used to do. He likes to come through the audience, which is great. He gives the audience get up close and personal with him, helps his babyface persona as well, and he goes out and he wins this match against Alex from the Beaver Boys in 8 seconds. I think it was a record for AEW in the match time. And then Chris Jericho, the La Champion, as he likes to call himself, comes out with the Inner Circle. They surround the ring. Jericho gets in, tells him, hey man, don't worry about it. If we wanted to jump you, we would do it right now. Jericho brings up the history from the time when they was in WWE, when they had their feud then, and how Moxley looked up to him and asked him how do I become a star? And he brings up the time when Moxley wanted to leave WWE, and who did he turn to? He turned to Chris Jericho to help him figure out how to achieve such things. So, he goes on to say, you know what? No reason for us to be enemies. I want you to join the Inner Circle. I want you to join my group. And he puts a t-shirt on Moxley's shoulder and says, give it some time to think about it. Don't answer right away. And so I'm assuming that we're going to get Moxley's answers next week. And it's safe to say that I highly, highly doubt Moxley will join in on the Inner Circle. But I see him toying around with him, making him think he's going to join, and then he really doesn't. As far as the opening goes, I give it to NXT. The NXT's opening to me was better. You had an awesome match. It was nonstop action. Lio Rush always puts on an awesome show. Angel Garza does the same thing. So you put them two together and you get yourself a very nice match. Next on the list, it is the Battle of the Promos. Do you smell what Jamez is cooking? Jamez would be my ring name if I was a wrestler. That's just a little taste of my promo. It might not have been the greatest, but hey, I might have took it from an old wrestler. I don't know, But anyway, so we get into NXT's promos, and boy, there is a lot of them. It's the first promo of the night is Shayna Baszler. Next week, she'll be facing Rhea Ripley for her NXT Women's Championship. She goes on to say Rhea Ripley is just the new flavor of the month. There's been plenty of flavors of the month, and that Rhea Ripley is not prepared to face her, and that Rhea Ripley, just like the rest, will fade away, and Baszler will still remain your champion. Mia Yim was the next promo to come out. Those of you who don't know, Mia Yim got jumped by Dakota Kai when Dakota Kai turned heel at War Games a couple weeks ago. And she was, Dakota Kai actually took her place at War Games. And it was Dakota Kai who jumped Mia Yim, sent her to the hospital that night. So Mia Yim talks about that, talks about how she's going to get her revenge. And there's unfinished business with Dakota Kai. Now, move on to a movie promo, a visual promo. Travis Banks gets a hype promo, just a hype video. He's from the UK. He's gonna be in a match. They didn't say who he's gonna be in a match with that night, and so they give him a little hype to give the fans someone who he is. I guess I don't follow the UK NXT UK very much, so I didn't know who he was. But then another promo that happened was Finn Balor. Those of you who don't know, Finn Balor was going to be in the main event that night, between him, Keith Lee, and Tommaso Ciampa. And the winner of that match would go on next week on the 18th to face Adam Cole for the NXT World Heavyweight Championship match. So that promo goes on, and Finn Balor is just like a little video. It's not a live promo or anything like that. It's something already pre-made, premeditated. So there was that promo. And, you know, of course, he goes off and says he's going to win that match. The next promo that take place would be Keith Lee's promo. The same exact thing. He talks about what he's done this year. He talks about all the moments he's made and how tonight he's going to make another moment by defeating both Finn Balor and Tommaso Ciampa to go on to face Adam Cole next week for the NXT World Heavyweight title. Next on the list would be Rhea Ripley. She has a promo to answer back, of course, to Shayna Baszler. Now, something to keep in mind, all these promos were premeditated promos already. There was no, like, microphones involved. These were videos where they was talking about, you know, what they was going to do. Rhea Ripley talks about her tough life of growing up as a child and how Rhea Ripley is going to beat Baszler, that Baszler's never faced an opponent like her. Baszler's never beaten her. So she beat her at War Games. She's going to beat her again. You know, the typical stuff. Next on the list is Tommaso Ciampa. Also in that triple threat match against Keith Lee and Finn Balor. He would go on to say, you know, he came back from an injury. And his famous words have been so far, Goldie, Daddy's home. So he's pretty much saying, look, that's mine, I'm taking it. You them guys don't stand a chance. Now on AEW side, they didn't have as many promos, but the promos they had I thought were really good. They was the right moment promos and things like that. Promo for the main event of the night would be Young Bucks versus Santana and Ortiz from the Inner Circle. They've been battling back and forth for the past couple of weeks. The winner would go on next week of this match tonight to face SCU for the AEW Tag Team Championship belts. Now, this is a Texas street fight match, and they are in Texas. So, the name is fitting, right? So, that being said, here we are. They have that little thing, get everybody hyped up, let them know what's going to happen. And then MGF has a promo. And those of you who don't know, MGF was Cody Rhodes' best friend, betrayed Cody Rhodes, and so now it sparked that rivalry. And I'm going to tell you right now, MGF is very impressive on the microphone. I think he's one of the best persons on the microphone that I've heard in AEW. And, you know, he's very well articulate. He's very well within the rights. He's very talented on the microphone. And he would make the cord guy, out of all people, who gets a side cord guy in the ring, and makes him kiss his ring, which he won. I don't have a ring on. Just imagine there's a ring here. You can put any ring on there. Let's just say it's a ring pop or something like that. You know, nothing too crazy, a ring pop. But anyway, he has this diamond ring that he won in a tournament a couple weeks back. And he makes him kiss his ring for laughing at a joke that Cody Rhodes had said in a promo last week. So the story goes. And then he goes on to attack him, takes him out. You know, the typical heel stuff as a rich, classy heel does. Then he talks about Cody Rhodes, how great Cody Rhodes is, but he's not as great as him when he's referring to himself, MJF is. And how Cody Rhodes is not as good on the microphone or in the ring as MJF. And so therefore, he goes on to talk more about Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes challenged him to a match, and MJF actually accepts this match after going on for weeks saying he's never going to wrestle Cody Rhodes in a wrestling match. He says, I accept your challenge, but I have a couple stipulations, and I won't announce them here in Texas. I want to announce them in Jacksonville. So next week, we're going to find out what these stipulations are that is going to make this match happen. And this was like the best promo of the night, by the way, guys. I mean, this promo was awesome. Like I said, MJF, I'm really a big fan of him when he's on the microphone and when he's talking. You know, he really makes you believe what he's saying, and it's something that, you know, a lot of people in the promo industry, they can't do no more. Very few can. He's got skills of a veteran, as like a veteran as in like someone maybe as Chris Jericho or Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock, you know, when they have that ability to connect with the fans. And he really just, I mean, he's probably the most hated guy in AEW by the fans from a performance standpoint. And then another promo would happen. This is a video of the Dark Order. Those of you who've been keeping track of things, it's like, look, you know, if you're feeling unwanted, you're feeling this sort of way, you don't feel appreciated, we got you. Come join us. Join the Dark Order. I myself, guys, I have joined the Dark Order. There is an actual website. It is an official AEW, The Dark Order website. You can join the Dark Order. I haven't received nothing yet. I'm really wanting to get one of them nice little masks. You know what I mean? I mean, cover up this ugly face I got going on here. But you can't. I did join the Dark Order myself. So, I mean, these commercials are working. And they are really well put together commercials. Like, you'd almost think these are actual commercials that I could watch on TV. That's how good these commercials are for the Dark Order. Now, Alex, who just got beat by Jon Moxley tonight, keep that in mind. He got beat by Jon Moxley tonight, was in this commercial, and they're tempting him to leave the Beaver Boys and join them and become part of the Dark Order. That's a storyline that we really need to watch. Those of you who've been watching AEW knows that the Beaver Boys, well, they're not exactly cutting wood or anything. They are getting beat left and right. I don't think I've seen them win a match yet, unless they've won a match on AEW Dark, which happens on Tuesday nights on the YouTube channel, which I have not tuned into yet, and I really need to do that in the future. Now, they would go on to the next promo, which would be Pac, a.k.a. Neville. He pretty much gives a warning to AEW and Kenny Omega to say, give me my rubber match. Right now, Pac and Kenny Omega are 1-for-1. And he's saying, look, I want my rubber match. You either give it to me, or I'm not going to be held responsible for what's going to happen. So, in the future, look for him to start beating some people up. Especially when they win or lose. It don't really matter. He's going to be taking some revenge. Excuse me, getting choked up thinking about it, you know. You imagine being one of them guys, get your hand raised and then getting attacked by Pac? I don't think so. I don't want to be that guy. That's for sure. That is for sure. I can taste the diabetes going down my throat when I take a sip of the Mountain Dew. Now, the last promo that I got written down here is Brandy Rhodes. Brandy Rhodes is Cody Rhodes' wife, for those of you who don't know. She's kind of got her own little cult thing going on, kind of like the Dark Order does. Excuse me, like I said, I'm getting all tongue-tied up here, looking like old Elmer Fudd with my tongue-tied, or Porky the Pig. That's all, folks. So, anyway, this video begins with her walking around, and she's begging Christy. I can't remember her last name. I'm going blank. I'm sorry. But she's going to be in a match next week. You'll get to see her. She wants her to join the family. Her and Awesome Kong and the family. The lady from the audience from last week, where she got her hair cut, showed up in this video. And plus a random bald man who had his head half turned. And he went to turn around. And Brandy said, no, not yet. So apparently whoever this guy is, he is a wrestler there. And he is going to be released or promoted at some point in time and be revealed to us who he is. But all in all tonight, the promos from AEW compared to NXT was a lot better, I thought. And there was a lot more there was a couple more promos on NXT. In this case, less is more. So I give the promo standpoint tonight to not NXT, to AEW. So for those of you who's keeping track, for those of you who keep a score during this video, it's tied 1-1. Now, we move on to the women matches. NXT would have 2 women matches. One match being Mia Yim versus Dakota Kai. Now, in this match, here's what ends up happening. Dakota Kai's been carrying around a knee brace where she attacked her best friend at War Games, took her knee brace off, and she's been kind of using it as a weapon when she starts losing matches. This Dakota Kai heel turn is really nice. I actually really appreciate it, and I wish it's something that they would have done more sooner with her character and everything, especially when she came back from injury. So having this heel Dakota Kai is something I have not seen. It's really nice and a fresh breath of air for me. Now, in this match, Dakota Kai's getting beat. It's a pretty solid match, actually. Mia Yim's not known for really putting on a 5-star match. Neither really is Dakota Kai. So you really knew this match was just going to be about even, like a 3.5-star match at most, maybe a 4-star. But anyway, so they go in this match. Dakota Kai starts getting beat. She grabs the knee brace, uses it as a weapon. The referee takes it away from her, which then at that point in time, she takes the turnbuckle padding off the turnbuckle, exposing the steel, and I think we all know what happens from there. Mia Yim goes into attack, gets beat because she smacks her face right off of the steel post with the exposed turnbuckle, gets pinned. Dakota Kai wins. Well, at this point in time, Mia Yim snaps, beats her ugly butt. Well, she's actually very gorgeous. I apologize for that, Dakota Kai. You are a very gorgeous, gorgeous girl. Now, beats her butt all the way up to the technician place where they have all the tech and everything to make the sound and all that work. Pulls out the tables that was there. There's 2 tables. And they beat themselves up to the stairs. And then Mia Yim would suplex Dakota Kai through the tables off the stage where the tech is. And they were supposed to go through both tables. They only went through one. So, I don't know if Dakota Kai actually got hurt. I don't think so. But Mia Yim was able to pull herself up. She was the last woman standing, in a sense. And she had a smile on her face. Bianca Belair would then face Kaden Carter. Kaden Carter is an up-and-coming star. She's definitely in the Performance Center. That is for sure. And therefore, you know, you knew who was going to win this match. This is one of those bathroom break matches, I guess you could say. I mean, you knew who was going to win this match. Bianca Belair was not going to get beat by nobody. WWE is really bad at least that standpoint. They don't normally surprise us with them underdog matches. They kind of let you know who's going to win right off the gate. And therefore, Bianca Belair wins. Now, from AEW's standpoint, AEW had one women's match, and it was the debut for Big Swole. I seen during the week that they had signed a new person, Big Swole. Didn't know what to expect from her. She comes out there, and she goes against the veteran, who, by the way, is ranked number 3rd in the women's hunt for the championship. That's one thing about AEW I like as well. They got a ranking system to help with kind of let you know who's getting the push or who's close to getting a championship, things like that. So that's really nice. I appreciate things like that. Absolutely. Now, in this match, it's actually a pretty solid match, especially it was a nice debut match. She went against Emi. I lost the name here. Emi Sakura. Now, she's always had a chance at Rio. She's Rio's mentor. This Emi she is from Japan. She's a veteran in the ring. And so she's kind of going to be that girl that you see is the veteran that they throw these new people up against, I do believe. Then she's going to help them try to make them look good. Now, it was actually a pretty impressive debut. Big Swole would actually go on to win this match. But that was the only women's match of the thing. Now, if I can complain about anything about AEW is, and I think most of you will agree with me on this, at least I think you will, they need to really help the women divisions out, give them some promos, help them out in that aspect, you know, help them out in the ring. This was actually a really solid match. It wasn't sloppy. I really, really hope that they really get this women division up and running to the aspect of such as WWE. WWE's women division is the best women's division out there right now compared to any other organization. So That being said, AEW, if you can just beef it up a little bit, help them with the promos, get people excited about it. Because right now, your women's division, even though you're not based on the Attitude Era of the women's division where it was back in WWE when the women were just for eye candy and things like that, and through the ruthless aggression era where it was eye candy, you got legit athletes in now. They're kind of treated like, the bathroom break for your cord. So I would really appreciate myself to see you push them to that point. I don't know if anybody from AEW is going to see this video, but if you do get to see this video, I can tell you that there's something that the fans want to see more, what I've read and what I've seen in comments and things like that. So I give the edge tonight to NXT in the women's match. A lot of it has to do with the fact that Mia Yim beats the snot out of Dakota Kai after the match. That helped out a lot. And plus, they had 2 women matches where AEW only had 1. Now, we're going to move on to the tag team division. Now, one thing I can say about AEW does usually put on better tag team matches than NXT. That's something that I can say right now when I've watched these for the last couple of weeks and the last month and that. AEW compared to NXT's tag division, AEW is doing it right. Now, they only had 1 tag team match on NXT. That match was being Benzingo and the Singh brothers. Once again, AEW has a better tag team division and puts on better matches usually than NXT does. And sometimes they put on better tag team matches than the rest of the card does. Now, that's a different subject for a different day. So anyway, so Breezango goes on to win this match. This was definitely a bathroom break match also for NXT. The Singh brothers, if you guys don't remember, used to be with Jinder Mahal before Jinder Mahal got hurt. They put him into a tag team and into a comical tag team at that. On AEW, they had the Butcher, the Blade, with the Bunny. For those of you who don't know who that is, a couple weeks ago, Cody Rhodes got jumped by these guys. They was hired by MJF to do so, to take Cody out. And they did just that. Now, Cody Rhodes let MJF pick his partner, and MJF picked QT Marshall. He's someone who's still training. He's someone who still isn't exactly top of the line, top notch in AEW. And they played that part off very well. Obviously, these guys are professional athletes. Obviously, these guys know what they're doing. But they played this part off really well. Like, this is the major underdog that Cody is at a very big disadvantage. And actually, believe it or not, this QT Marshall, he actually put on a pretty good show. He did the natural underdog thing. Well, they have to get in the ring to perform. And when they do, he actually got the snot beat out of him during the commercial break. But when it mattered, he stepped up to the plate, got people thinking that they might see an upset, only to find out that no, there was not going to be no upset, and he takes the pinfall. And then Cody sits down. You can tell he's upset. You can just feel like he's all alone, like he don't think anybody's going to help him. He said before he has no friends and things like that. Well, out comes Darby Allin. He walks right past the Butcher, right past the Blade. Pretty much just shoulder checks him real quick. Just hits him with that bop bop. Extends his hand out to Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes takes his hand. And that is a tag team that you're going to see very soon, I do believe. Probably as early as this next week. Seeing them two start to work together. Now, next match would be the Chairman, John Spears, and Superbad Kip Sabian versus Kenny Omega and Hangman Dallas Page. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm really big on Hangman Dallas Page. He's definitely a future star. He's definitely somebody I'm keeping an eye on. I've been kind of disappointed with Shawn Spears, a.k.a. better known as 10 over there when he was with WWE. And I've been kind of disappointed with John Spears and what they've been using for on AEW. Now, Superbad Kip Sabian, he's been kind of newly brought in. They're trying to slowly give him a push, things like that. Now, in this match, it's a solid match. It's back and forth. Kenny Omega always puts on good matches. Dallas Page always puts on good matches. When John Spears actually gets to wrestle, he puts on decent matches. And this Kip Sabian, he was able to do the same thing with his manager. The lights would go out, though, when the chairman started to get the advantage. You have to excuse me. A little scratchy right here. You know, but I still want to bring you that content. So please excuse me. Now, lights go out. And then you see Bad Boy Janela has Tony Blanchard, which is John Spears' manager, who John Spears did not get to see and was kind of wondering why he didn't walk out to the ring with him. Actually, Jim Ross even brought it up. That's very uncharacteristic like him, that he was not a part of the group and a part of the match. But he's tied up on a chair, so it explains why he's not there, which would get John Spears out of the ring, which will leave Kip in there by himself. And, well, that's all she wrote, folks. Kenny Omega and Dallas Page takes advantage of Kip being left all alone and pick up the victory. So, tonight, when it comes to the tag team division, AEW wins. And for those of you keeping track, it's 2-2 now. NXT 2, AEW 2. Then we get on to the, I call it the mid-card matches, meaning these are the single matches that's taking place in the middle of the shows until you get to the main event or until you get to a big match. On NXT, it was Raw, Mendoza versus Cameron Grimes. Last week, Cameron Grimes jumped Raw Mendoza when he's supposed to go against Tushita on his return from injury. He would jump Mendoza and take his place. And by the way, Grimes would go on and get beat in that match. And then Grimes, they showed a video of that. Then they showed a video of him jumping Tushita after the match in the locker room. So this week, Raul Mendoza was looking to get his revenge. Cameron Grimes had everything under control until Tushita showed up in the natural face, action after getting jumped. It distracts Grimes. Grimes gets beat, so Mendoza gets his revenge. And this is a part that was not scripted, I guarantee it. NXT says take his hat. Those of you who don't know, Grimes has come out with one of those old fashy type of hats that you see the old westerns wear. It ain't a cowboy hat. It's not a top hat. It's somewhere in between. And Tushita actually takes the hat. That wasn't scripted, but it was a nice little touch. So Tushita and Grimes is obviously going to be a rivalry to keep an eye on. Grimes is an up-and-coming star for sure. So that would be really cool to watch. The next match, mid-card match, will be Jackson Ryder, leader of the Forgotten Sons, versus, remember when I said the promo about Travis Banks from the UK, versus Travis Banks. This match wasn't really a barn burner by any means. It was a typical big man versus little man type of match. And to my surprise, Travis Banks would get the win. Now in AEW, you had Sammy Guevara versus the Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus, this is his first match since his injury. And for those of you who wears a dinosaur mask, he's real green. And it's kind of entertaining. He's at least 6'7", I think is what he is. 6'7", 6'6", something like that. But he's a lot bigger than Sammy Guevara. And Sammy Guevara is part of the Inner Circle. They had a run-in last week. Now, this is all just a match to build up Jungle Boy Jack as he faces Chris Jericho next week in a non-title match to see if he can last 10 minutes or not. That whole match was really just a setup to help build that up. But as the match went on, it was a really good match, actually, for what it was. And Sammy Guevara would get beat by Luchasaurus. After the win, Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, not Jack, would come down to the ring and jump in, and a big brawl breaks out. And then unofficially, Jungle Boy Jack pins Chris Jericho, and then he escapes the ring. So it really builds up the temptation. I think I know what's going to happen. He's going to last 10 minutes. I don't think Chris Jericho is selfish enough. Guess what? That's one thing I do love about Chris Jericho. He's not a selfish wrestler. It's not about him. He wants to help other talents get big. He wants to help other talents get the push that they need to get momentum on the side. And what they do with it is up to them. He has a habit of making people look like a star. So this is going to be a good match for Jungle Boy Jack and that trio. that he is a part of. If I was going to give the win to anybody this week, I would give the win, believe it or not, less is more. AEW wins this as well. Even though there was 2 mid-card matches on NXT, AEW put on a really good show with the mid-card matches, and it was a match that actually mattered. I felt like it mattered more than the other 2 matches, and it was and the matches were longer. This match was longer, so it was a better show. Now we move on to the Feast of the Resistance, and that is the main event. NXT's main event was a triple threat match. Winner goes to face Adam Cole next week for the NXT World Heavyweight Championship. Finn Balor versus Keith Lee versus Tommaso Ciampa. This match, when you put that much talent in a ring, if those of you have been watching, you know, Finn Balor's work is well known. Keith Lee is this big up-and-coming star, and what he's been able to do has been fantastic and amazing. He's missed a big time, if you ask me, this year. And then Tommaso Ciampa always puts on a good match. He always puts on a great show. So you put all them guys together in the ring, you're going to get a great main event. That being said, you know, this match goes on, and it had a very shocking ending. The thing about the triple threat like this, you don't know who's going to win. And I didn't figure Finn Balor would win just because he's a heel. Well, I was wrong about that. Finn Balor would go on to win the match. And this is something that WWE does not do very often, is a heel versus heel match. Adam Cole is a heel. Finn Balor's a heel. I don't see Finn Balor winning this match. As good as he is, I figure the Undisputed Era, which is Adam Cole's buddies, will interfere in the match next week. But you know what? I'm going to tune in anyway, because anytime you got championship matches on the line, I want to see who's going to win. I want to be up to date on things like that. Next is AEW. This is the Texas Street Fight. The winners will face SCU for the tag team titles. Now, right before the match even begins, Young Bucks come out first. Ortiz and Santana, and with Sammy Guevara, come out and jump them, so the Inner Circle gets involved right away. Justin from the back, he's helped the Young Bucks before, comes out to help, gets put through a table, and all hell breaks loose, I guess you could say. They have these socks with the tennis balls or soap in it. Ortiz and Santana does. That's kind of like the signature weapon. They start beating the crap out of the Young Bucks. And as the match goes on, the Young Bucks get advantage. They jump through the table early. There's a DDT up on the stage. So there's a lot of mayhem going on right now. And for those of us who love hardcore matches, and I'm talking old school hardcore matches, like stuff you've seen back in the Attitude Era hardcore matches, AEW is well known for that. They're not afraid, and they don't shy away from that. That being said, the match continues. Referees get pulled out of the ring. You know, they keep from getting pinned. SCU ends up getting involved and helping out the Young Bucks, defeat Ortiz and Santana. So the Young Bucks will be facing SCU next week for the tag team titles. Once again, I don't think the tag team title is going to change hands. Ortiz and Santana will get involved for sure. You know that. That's going to cost... I don't know if it'll be a disqualification, but it will cost the Young Bucks the championship titles. So that's the recap. That's what happened. This was a tough decision for me. I really had to think about who was going to win the main event battle. And I give the battle and the winner to AEW. So AEW wins this week. AEW with 4 victories compared to NXT. As far as my opinion goes on what happened, it still was a close night. Next week, you know, I'm going to do this every week. I'm going to compare these two. If there's a suggestion you want me to see me cover, put it in the comments. Who do you think won this week? Let me know. Your opinions matter on this channel. What you guys think matter. I want to hear your opinions. I want to hear what you have to say. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. And go follow my page on Facebook as well. It's the same name, Do the Work Sports, where I talk a lot more about football and things like that. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching. I'm going to continue to bring you content. You have suggestions of things that you want me to do to improve this stream. You also put it in the comments. I'm not afraid of criticism. Let me have it. That way, it's the only way I know to get this performance up and to bring you guys the best content that I possibly can at this possible time. So thank you guys for tuning in, and have a great rest of your day, and have a great night.